we're back here at the museum again with Cowboy George. Thank you for passing by, getting off your horse, and stepping in to teach us some more knots. Now, if you remember in our first video, you learned how to tie a cowboy scarf, wild rag. Do they have some other names too? Like a neckerchief?
Neckerchief, yeah.
So, but today, you're going to take it another step, and we're going to tie some rope.
We're going to tie some knots.
Okay.
Practice with the ropes, yeah.
So what are you going to show us?
Well, the first one I'm going to show you is I'm going to place you under arrest and make
Oh, geez.
Not the first time?
No.
We won't say that. Okay.
I'm never getting a speeding ticket.
Would
before.
you are under arrest. Put your hands there, and then you can tighten this up like so. And if you keep pressure on, if you keep pressure on this, then you won't be able to get out of it. I know you got small wrists, but what
how do you tie
use this knot for is for hobbles on a horse. Everybody know what hobbles
Well, why
are?
don't you let our viewers know what a hobble means?
Well, hobbles when you tie horses.
You want to use my wrist
legs
for
together.
example?
Yeah, we can do that. Their front legs. That way you go to sleep for the night, and the horse can freely graze, but it's not going to run off. It's not going to drift off very far. Now, if I had this around a horse, I would not leave a long rope dangling out of it, because they may step on it with their back foot and fall on their nose, and it could hurt them. But I would also use my favorite cotton rope, a large cotton rope. It's soft and it won't hurt, it won't burn the pastern of the horse. Pastern is that area right above the hoof of a horse. But a big cotton rope won't burn them, won't cause a rope burn. Okay, I'm going to show you this loop, this knot.
Okay.
All right, what I do is let's go back to the basics.
Okay.
This I'm calling my working end, because that's the one I'm going to tie the knot in. This is a loop. I twist it one time, it's a loop. This is a bite where there's no twist in it. It's just right there. That's called a bite. The long end, back this way, is called a straight end. Okay? All right, I'm going to make two loops, side by side, and about equal size. Okay? Two loops together. I've got this facing you. I'm going to call that the outside. This side I'm going to call the inside. I'll grab the inside of one, the outside of another, and there's the handcuff knot or hobbles. All right, we'll try it one more time. And you can get a little rope. I like this kind of rope because it's small and fast, and it's easy to practice with. Okay, I'm going to make two loops about equal size. Two loops together, inside of one, outside of the other, and I pull them tight. You can put this over somebody's wrist and pull them tight, or around the pastern and the hooves of a horse for hobbles. Okay? All right, now for the most important knot, one I like is called a bowline. And there's lots of uses for a bowline knot. What it does, it'll make you a loop that will not shrink, will not choke. You know, if you put it around a horse's head, it will not choke them. It's just a loop that stays solid. What you do, this time I'm going to call the working end the rabbit. Okay, and you may have heard about this knot before.
Why do you call it a rabbit?
You've never heard that description?
Well, maybe you might want to tell our viewers.
Well, it's an old joke that describing how to tie this knot. You got a loop. The rabbit comes up out of the hole, around the tree, and back down the hole. All right? That was a description a lot of people would use to describe the bowline, on how to tie the bowline. But this loop will not shrink. You can put it over a horse's head. You can make a halter out of it. You can do something like that. Put this around the horse's head, this around their nose. You could also, there's another one called the double bowline. All bowline knots are very useful. Okay, I've doubled the rope up. I'm going to make the loop, and at this end is a bite. All right? I'm going to stick the bite up through the loop, and what I'm going to do is go back over it like that. Now, if you had a short rope, you could put that bite up over the straight end of the rope. But right here, I put it through the hole, I put it through the loop, and then came back around the whole thing, tighten that up. That's a double bowline. And that's also the knot that you would use on a bull rope if any of you want to ride bulls or anything crazy like that. Okay? And if you have a big fat bull, you would want to make a small loop. And you can adjust it just like that. If you had a skinny bull, you'd want a bigger loop. All right? And you would come way up the rope and make a bigger loop. All right? What a double bowline is good for, besides the bull rope, is, let's say, remember the last time when we hooked those two ropes together, we talked about Timmy falling down the well?
Right.
Okay, Timmy falls down the well. We're going to make a double bowline. Loop, come up through the loop. Now get the bite over here above the knot. It's supposed to come in above the knot right there. Pull it tight. Okay, you drop this rope down the well. Timmy could put a leg through one loop, a leg through the other, and you can pull him out of the well. Now, one more bowline. These are fun. These types of knots is very useful. The bowline's one of the greatest knots there is. But it's just fun to get a little piece of rope like this, and I've done some movies and stuff, and that's a lot like the Army. It's hurry up and wait, and you're always sitting there waiting on the next scene. I've done a background on horseback and stuff like that. I've done deep background. Can't see my face in any of them hardly. But we'd sit around and we'd tie knots, just practice tying knots. So, but anyway, I'm going to do what's called a triple bowline. I make that loop, I take the bite, I go up through the loop, the rabbit comes up through the hole, goes around the tree and comes back down the hole. And you can adjust these to make them about the same size loop. But same thing, if Timmy's down the well or whatever, and he's semi-conscious or not completely mobile, leg around each side and one around the waist, and you can pull him out. And he doesn't have to be totally conscious, or they'd call it ambulatory. He wouldn't have to be there to help you. You could tie that one, stick it around both legs and the waist, and you could pull him out.
Well, George, you want to tell us a little bit about the movie that you were a part of, and then it was actually locally filmed, and Andy Humble was in it, and several other reenactors that we know?
Yeah, it's called Death Alley, and it was about the Dalton gang, and the Doolin Dalton gang, actually. Dalton gang was the one that raided Coffeyville, tried to rob 2 banks at one time. After they were pretty well shot up there in Coffeyville, some other Dalton family members that formed a gang with the Doolin Dalton gang, another outlaw gang, and this is about that whole sequence about in the 1890s.
Oh, wow. So, when do we get to see it?
Well, hopefully the COVID-19 kind of put a cramp on it, because they weren't able to film back to back like they wanted to, but it should be this winter, December.
This winter? Okay.
They may have some trailers out that we can see.
Maybe we could
So-
show a trailer at our Cowboy Days, October
hopefully.
9th and 10th out here at the museum.
Hopefully,
Maybe Andy
yes.
can bring us a trailer or
Yeah.
something to show. So, well, another yeehaw to Cowboy George. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate it. We always like it when you pass by.
Okay.
So, hope everybody learned something today. It was a lot of fun.
Practice them not.
Practice,
Get a
practice,
little piece of rope
practice.
and just practice.
Yes. Until then, happy trails.